Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to Shifting Lanes. We are still at the Dragon. It is awesome, but today we're gonna take a look at a car that I have wanted to see ever since I started owning a Volvo, which was several months ago. Before we get into all of that, I just want to take a second and thank this episode's sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Volvo Cars West Houston. It is an amazing dealership. They have great sales, great service department, but on top of that, they also support the community. So they're not your average dealership. If you want to tune and work on your car and make it, quote unquote, better than factory, they'll help you out with it. And one of the best parts about them is they work with my guest here, who is, for lack of a way of better putting it, or speaking English, a Volvo legend, specifically in the P1 platforms. Rich, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
So, what do we got here? Give us the basics.
This is the Elge. It's Swedish for moose. It's my 2011 Volvo C30. Pretty much has almost everything you've done that you can do to a C30.
So, I mean, as far as the exterior goes, I see you got the, that real carbon? Nope, looks like a wrap.
It's wrap. It's actually, so the story behind this car is I built this car for a customer of mine a while ago, Bill Bowman. Great guy. Wanted, you know, to see what you can do with a C30 so you can come to events like this. And so we basically took one of our used stock units and built this car. We built it starting out with just being a mild daily driver until the monster that it is right now. It's been about 5 years or so since we built it, the majority of it, but it's been holding up great. We haven't really had any issues with it. When he went to go sell the car, I naturally bought it because I built it for him. Yeah. So it was kind of a, a natural progression of the car. You can see the stance is not stock. It's sitting on 19-inch wheels. These are not my daily wheels. I normally have 17-inch Super Legeras. I ended up wanting to put these on to show off the brakes for the Dragon and see how they do out here. Not the best option because they do rub a little bit, but they look pretty. So
tell us a little more about those brakes though.
So these are Seika front and rear brake kit. This one is 330 millimeter fronts. They're 6-piston calipers, dual piece rotors. Slotted, drilled, obviously, vented. They're angle vented so you can get all the heat out. Normally when we come to the Dragon, I do temp readings on everyone's brakes when they get off the Dragon, and these are always 100 degrees or more cooler. So whether it be the driving style, the brakes, I think it's the brakes. They're just phenomenal. They never fade, they never give up. They just work. So if you guys want some quality big brakes, Seika's the way to go. We'll show you the rear also. They have hydraulic rear parking brakes, which is not common for a lot of big brake kits. And it just works with your hydraulic fluid. You lock it in and it locks the brakes. A lot of big brake kits you have to add another caliper to lock them in, but they're great brakes. I love them. One of the best parts of the car, obviously, other than the horsepower. Stance wise, it's on Bilstein B16 coilovers. My favorite coilover on the market for a daily use. There's other coilovers like Seika that are really good coilovers for more adjustment, but these are just phenomenal coilovers, and we'll see that when we drive it later on. But walking around the car, you can see the rear brakes, 330 millimeter rears. 4 pots in the rear, so a lot of people say, oh, that's too much brake, but being a 4-piston is actually pretty even braking pressure all the way around. There are smaller pads, obviously. So
going on back, what kind of exhaust are we running here?
It has Ferretta downpipe and Ferretta quad tip exhaust on it. It's actually really quiet, which I like because I do daily. It has 0 drone. Ferretta, in my opinion, makes one of the best exhausts known to man. They're a Swedish company, so kind of goes with the car also.
Rocking our brand new Hellwinkle sticker already. Appreciate that.
Of course.
Give a little insight onto what's to come with your badging here.
So, you know, a lot of people will say these aren't real R's, they're R designs, and I beg to differ on this car, which is why it has the C30R badge, because it does have significantly more horsepower than even an S60R does. K16, that's the turbo that I have on it. I am putting on daily use, I use a 23 PSI tune. For the Dragon, I have a 27 pound tune. So anything above that, it just makes heat, and you really don't get any benefit from, you know, from any more pressure. So
fantastic. And coming around this side, we got more of our stuff, but your stuff. You're on YouTube now.
yeah, unfortunately, I am. We decided to do Master Tech Garage. Kevin and I do it, and Volvo Cars West Houston kind of allows us to do it at their shop, you know, at our dealership. So we just wanted to get a lot of information out there. I hate doing them, obviously, because I'm not really a good personality for YouTube like you guys are. But it's informative, and hopefully you guys are, you know, getting a little bit out of it. And we'll continue to throw out videos.
I definitely enjoyed it so far. Anything special about the interior, or
we did carbon fiber wrapped interior with when we did the grill and the mirror caps and stuff. But it's just a wrap on the interior a little bit. I do have a Polestar shift knob out of a V60 Polestar with a leather boot on it. Other than that, the interior is pretty well stocked. I do have the steering wheel also wrapped so it doesn't burn my hands every time I get in. Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention in the rear, I have the Elevate carbon fiber drive E-spoiler. I love this, the look of it. It's really sleek with the roof. You know, it gives a little different dimension to the rear end of this car over the stock spoiler.
Fantastic. Well, let me save you a trip to our comments section, and she's an automatic.
She is.
Why?
Because, well, number one, because the previous owner wanted an automatic for daily use, because we do live in Houston. And can't really say it on camera, but because you.
That's what the bleep is for. No, it's fine, man.
Anyone that says that the automatics in these cars are weak does not know what they're talking about. This car handles phenomenally. We do have a large transcooler on this thing so that it does handle the higher temps, you know, out here at the Dragon. But I love this auto. I daily it, so I appreciate the auto in the car. I do prefer manual cars just because I am an enthusiast, but there's nothing wrong with the autos in these cars at all.
I guess the only thing left to do here is pop the hood and see what's going on underneath there.
All right, it is a little dirty today, so I apologize for that. Well, we've been here for about a week, and cleaning my car is not really on top of my priority list.
Well, they're used to looking at my car, so you're all right there.
So starting with the hood, I did cut 2 holes for heat ventilation. It works phenomenally. You can see by it started to warp the back of my my hood vents there today when we were running up and down the Dragon. So I'll have to put some carbon fiber ones of those guys on now. But yeah, this is it.
So walk us through it, man, because it's beyond not stock. The first thing I see is you got a little bit of not just a cone filter there on your intake.
Yeah, so I'll start with the intake side and we'll work all the way through the motor here. It's a Mototech intake made by Eurosport Tuning. We've tested a lot of different intakes, and we tested them in Houston on a 110-degree day while we were doing the tune with Shark flew to Houston. We did a bunch of runs up and down the road, obviously closed circuit, so that we can get the tunes on this car perfectly done. So we tested a bunch of intakes. Stock airbox worked the best for pulling back timing. Next best was the Mototech. The reason why I don't have the stock box on this car is because this Enembo intake will not fit with the stock airbox. So next best is the Mototech. Does have a carbon fiber outer shell, which looks pretty when it's cleaned up. Reverse cone filter on the inside. I do feed it a little bit of cold air, still obviously pulls in some hot air, so eventually I will be changing that. Around the side here we have the Elevate large upper pipe kit. It's a little bit discolored from the water coming in and heat soaking on there, so I'll be powder coating that eventually. After that goes into the K16 turbo. Underneath we do have the large piping from JW Racing. They supply a lot of Ford Focuses and different parts for Ford Focuses, and they have the largest intercooler made for these cars on the market, which this car now has. Well, has had since day one. If you look down inside the front here, it's a little dirty, but the intercooler basically goes from about right here to about right here. If you checked out our install videos on Project Wraith on Master Tech Garage, you'll see how large that is compared to stock. It's 4 times bigger, literally. Wow. Than stock. It's quite impressive. Inside the grill you'll see the transcooler. It's a Citreb transcooler from Elevate. We ran our own lines for the transcooler. This is actually made for an oil cooler. We can use it for a transcooler. Took off the thermostat for the oil cooler and use it for that. Let's see, as far as the engine goes, the engine is sleeved. It's got Darden sleeves in it. Forged internals, obviously. So we have forged rods, we have pistons, and 550 pound injectors on it. An Embo intake, all the hard piping coming up to the intake. It basically has everything. Stage 1 Newman cams.
And how much, what does that all equate to in power?
So on daily tune, we haven't dynoed it on the 27 PSI tune, but daily tune's about 325 to the front wheels, so on the dyno. So it runs pretty decent for a daily car. It's not outrageous, but it gets up and goes when I need it to.
And we have an LSD in this?
It's an automatic, so they don't make an LSD for
they
it.
Don't.
No, they.
Shows you how much I look at automatics. Sorry.
Yeah, so.
So how's that wrestling it around corners and stuff?
Has no problem.
Fair enough, good answer. Well, this is absolutely epic. Ever since I first started talking to you, I wanted to see this beast. This is an amazing piece. I just want to take a second, thank you for showing us around it, man. This is an awesome car. Certainly blows my little piece out of the water, but thank you so much. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is as C30s go. This is one of the best. I don't really know what more to say. Like Rich said, go to Master Tech Garage on YouTube if you want to check them out. They're doing Project Wraith, which is pretty insane vehicle. It's pretty much going to have a lot of these goodies on it and some. If you want to follow him on social media, again, it's at Master Tech 1. Right down here, we'll put a link to everything down in the description. If you want to follow us on social media, it's at Shifting Lanes. I'm at Chenedy83. But as for this one, guys, that's pretty much a wrap. Thanks for watching.